bring it back right back to where we were. So it's not I got to change the culture. The culture's already set there, so I'm just excited to be another piece of the part.
Right here, the Chiefs are known to have a dominating defense. How can your skill set motivate them and upgrade that defense?
For sure. I like to adhere to a standard, and I think with Spag's defense, there's no other place better to do it than that. And just the way he uses defensive backs to use my versatility and my cerebral game, I just think it'll be a great fit.
Can you describe for us the moment that you walked on the stage and what that felt like, and especially the experience getting to dap up the commissioner? Had you thought about that ahead of time at all?
Yes, I talked to the commissioner a couple of times, this week. It was just a great feeling. I think it hit me a little earlier than me walking on the stage when I first got the call. I was crying and, couldn't control my emotions, but, I got it together quick for that TV. And then, just being able to shake Mr. Goodell's hand, it was a blessing.
Man, so you're going to be one of many LSU guys that go off the board not only in the first round, throughout the entire draft. What can you say about the school and how it's prepared you for where you are right now?
Man, I can't thank that school for anything more. Really just, giving me the platform, allowing me to, be with my brothers, and then just growing me as a person, growing me as a player, and everything else was up to me to go do it. And they gave me the opportunity, and I'm so grateful for that.
Mansoor, this is Chris Brown here from the Mark Network. We talked yesterday, I'm right here, bro. We talked yesterday about the Commanders being able to go back home if they had picked you, and then Kansas City jumped ahead of them one spot. What do you feel about that, them jumping ahead? You said that they made the best decision of their life.
For sure. I firmly believe defense wins championships, especially let alone what's on the other side of the ball with our team. And really just now, fighting for another chance to go back and compete. But Mr. Peters is a little too late. But they made a great decision coming up and getting the dog.
Hi. Is there anybody you're looking to learn from on defense?
For everybody. Chamari Connor, I played with him at Virginia Tech. I really looked up to him. He was a role model for me. I seen the way he approached the game like a professional. And he texted me right before this draft. So I'm pretty sure there's so many more guys like himself in that locker room. Can't wait to be a sponge and get around those guys.
Over here, Dave Stevens of the Disability Channel. You are jumping on a team with a couple of Hall of Famers on offense. You get to play with Patrick and Kelsey and a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, what's that mindset like walking into guys that you used to watch just every Sunday?
For sure. I think it just goes back to the reason why I went to LSU. I run to the competition. I run to, the best. And, now being able to go against those guys in practice or, whenever that time comes, I think that gets me to be the best player I possibly can be. So I'm just grateful I can go against those high caliber level players and, help my game.
Hey, D Love Sports here, right here in the front.
All right.
We talked yesterday, actually, about Coach Jones at Virginia Tech. You mentioned Virginia Tech. Let's talk about how they set you up for success for LSU.
For sure. I think the biggest gift you can get is just the gift of experience. I think that's a teaching lesson right there itself. You go through trials and tribulations on that field, ups and downs, and I couldn't thank Virginia Tech enough for that, for trusting a kid, bringing an 18-year-old kid in and turning him to a boy into a man. So I appreciate that.
And what do you have to say for all the kids back in Maryland?
Back in Maryland, man, just keep tracing your dreams. It sounds cliche, but it's so true. It may not always look perfect. It may not look like it's going to happen, but, you may have to pivot. You may have to work even harder, but, it's there. You just got to keep working.
You're moving from college game to professional level. What do you think would be the biggest adjustment for you both on and off the field?
Really probably just say like that 18, 17 week season. Just realizing that, I don't want to hit that rookie wall and just being able to, change my mindset, take care of my body, invest in myself. Being able to, especially with this team, knowing that we're going to have to play for a long time and just being able to be prepared for that.
Here. Hello, first of all, congrats on being
Appreciate you.
selected by a franchise like Kansas City. We know that they're winners, but we also know that you're one of the best cornerbacks in this class. And I want to know what is something that maybe the coaches are underestimating about you.
For sure, I think my physicality, especially in this defense, you have to be physical. I think that allows me my flexibility to go inside and outside. So I think, I'm willing to get in those run fits and blitz and, guard tight ends and whatever it takes. I think I'm willing to do it.
Couple more.
Hey, congrats on the pick. Sorry.
I don't know where you're at.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. So, congrats on the pick again. Again, I'm sorry. So, what's going to be our first conversation with Patrick Mahomes is going to be like?
Sure. How are you great the way you're great? You know, that's just, I think I want to learn from just every type of person I get around the best to do it. You know, I just want to take a little something from him. So just being able to pick his brain, whether it's the way he take care of his body or, you know, the way he approaches the game. It doesn't have to be because he plays his offense, but there's a reason the way he's great the way he is. So I want to, you know, try to mock that.
Last two here in the front.
Hi, I'm Layla Hunter with AP As We See It. You're joining a team that expects to win every year, but in your rookie year, how do you define success outside of stats?
That's a good question. You know, just taking it day by day, winning the day. You know, I think that's the best thing you could do. Not just trying to put too much on yourself, or expecting to come in here and change the organization, but just take it day by day, and the rest will handle itself. And I kind of did that at LSU, but just taking that 1% better approach each day.
Last question here.
How much communication did you have with Kansas City leading up to the draft, and did you have a sense that they were interested in drafting you?
For sure. I think the media maybe had a better sense than me, actually. You know, to be honest, you know, they, like I said, they played the stealth approach. You know, they always say it's the teams that talk to you less that take you. So I'm really just talk to those guys a little bit, but it was in the back of my head, like I always had that feeling, like I feel like it might happen, and then it ended up happening. So it's a blessing.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.